Welcome to The Topic, where we highlight Houston Community College, our students, our programs, and our reach into the community. I'm Todd Duplantis. If you're watching us on YouTube, social media, or HCC TV, you can download all of our podcasts. Find us at Apple Podcast or hccs.edu/podcast. The United Student Council gives students a way to be actively involved with their student government. We've got a couple of guests here to tell us more about the USC. Corey Glover, Vice President of United Student Council, and Christine Mompoint, Parliamentarian of the United Student Council. Thanks to both of you for joining me.
Thank you.
And Corey, you just recently were at the graduation that we had, the
Yes,
first
sir.
one in the fall. You want to describe your experience there?
It was amazing. It was so wonderful being able to see families and students happy in their accomplishments. I mean, it was just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be able to speak at commencement.
And Christine, were you there as well?
Yes, I actually came to just support
Corey.
Support Corey and our
Yeah.
other students. So it was great.
Now, you're the Vice President of the United Student Council, but you're also the President of the student government out at the Southwest College,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Tell me about the difference between those two positions. I mean, you're very actively involved with serving on both, huh?
I would say the United Student Council really focuses on the system as a whole.
Okay.
And we work close with the district administration. Student government, we work with college administration, and we're more of the voice to our student body. We more are the people on the ground. Usually the United Student Council works in conjunction with SGAs to solve issues, or if they want to find more information about or investigate student issues, they would go usually through SGAs.
Christine, maybe you can tell us what your role is as parliamentarian.
So really what the role of the parliamentarian is to ensure that the Constitution and bylaws are being upheld with the different college organizations and different things like that. So right now we're working on a specific project to kind of make sure that everything that we're doing at the United Student Council is in compliance with the Constitution and getting students involved in that process.
For students who are a little bit confused, USC versus SGA, what's the difference? And maybe you can tell us how it's set up and how it works throughout the district.
So the United Student Council is the District Student Government Association.
Okay.
We're the parent organization for all student organizations.
So that's district-wide?
Right.
Okay.
We also facilitate monthly meetings that allow students to have a say in their student affairs. And we also are the official liaison between the student body and the Board of Trustees.
Okay. And then SGA, maybe you can explain the difference between that.
And then to tack on to what Corey's saying, the Student Government Association, much like your local government, how if you're having an issue with the city of Houston, you would go through the councils and the things of the city of Houston instead of going all the way to the federal government. The student government is kind of at your home campus to deal with like maybe something specific like campus administration and how they deal with things at that campus, or the hours of the library, which is specific to your college campus. So they kind of deal with the things on the ground.
Okay. So if a student had an issue or something they wanted to bring up, you would suggest they go to the SGA first?
Yes, sir.
Before they'd come to the USC, correct?
And the reasoning is we have, as an SGA officer, I'm able to interact with the deans of the college president, and I'm able to direct students in the proper pathway so they can get their issue resolved.
You know, over the years, I've had several members of SGA, past presidents and members, and it's interesting to always find out what the issues the students are concerned about. What would you say are the top few issues that students currently are concerned about?
Christine,
I would say a lot of students are very concerned about like the being able to access things on campus, so like opportunities like this, and thank you again for having us, where we can share information. Students are very concerned about having information about student life or rec sports or things like that, so SGAs and USC are working very diligently to share some of those resources.
And rec sports, I know that's certainly a big thing for HCC. What you mentioned, students are interested in that. What is your role in getting the word out with rec sports?
Well, our role in getting the word out for all student events would be emails. We have, I know SGAs have General Assembly meetings that we hold. Some of us hold General Assembly meetings twice a month, like for the Southwest, and I know Northwest they also do. So, and also flyers. So we try to utilize social media, our meetings, and all other printed information that we have.
Out to student. One of the issues that kept being was a reoccurring theme, and maybe you can tell me if it still is, was the opportunity to have food selections on campuses. You know, restaurants and kiosks. Is that still a big concern for students?
So actually, we are working on a project right now, the United Student Council, where we've gone to every college through their SGAs. We're partnering together to collect student feedback.
Right.
And we've had the opportunity to meet with Dr. Grays, who's the Vice Chancellor of Student Services, and she wants us to be a part of a committee to start making those changes. So when the United Student Council works with the SGAs to get that information, it kind of helps us put students in a position to kind of communicate the things that they're concerned about. So we do have a project about that right now.
Now the project is not just, I imagine, on a food court, it's on all types of concerns, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And so we each college kind of submitted whether it was like student feedback or their personal experiences, and then they're creating like an ad hoc committee with different faculty and staff members along with students to kind of champion the food issues on the district.
Now, if a student has an issue with, say, a professor, are you guys the ones that it would be best for them to go to, or do they need to go to a dean? What would you suggest, or could you help them guide them?
I would always encourage them to come to us because we're able to direct them to the proper authority on that issue. So if it's something with a professor, I would first encourage the student to see if they could work something out with the professor. If not, then I would ask them to follow the chain of command, which is going to that professor's supervisor and then moving up from there.
But you guys could, if they had questions about that, y'all could certainly guide them in the right direction.
Exactly.
Do you have students do they need to come meet with you at your open meetings, or can they email you and set up an appointment to talk to you if they have a concern or something they need to discuss?
We have an open door policy, and I think I can say that on behalf of all the SGAs. They can email us, come to our open meetings. A lot of us have office spaces. Well,
that was my next question. Where's your office spaces? Because you're at Southwest, right?
Yes, sir. We have one at the West Loop campus.
Okay.
And we allow other organizations to come in there and to collaborate with us on campus events and other campus initiatives.
And I would encourage students to check out the website because each SGA has a website page and they'll have the listed office hours and location so that you can figure out where your officers are and how you can reach them.
If they would like to find you guys on the website, where would they go? Can they do a search for USC, or how does that work?
The best thing to do is to go look for like the student life section, and then you can pick per college. And then each college, I know specifically at the Northwest page, we have a direct link back to the United Student Council. So there are ways that you can get connected in different variety of ways.
How often do you have your meetings locally at the campuses and then at the district?
Our district meetings are once a month for the United Student Council. And then for the SGAs, now that differs per college, but I know Northwest and Southwest, we've had meetings twice a month and at different locations across the college because we both have several campuses. Is
there a certain day of the week that y'all usually meet?
It's really up to the discretion of each executive board at the colleges. And so I think when I did a survey, it's kind of like there's almost an SGA meeting per day at various times. So there's a lot of opportunities for different students to get plugged in where they can.
So we're going to come back in a few moments and talk more about this. I want to thank Christine for being here, and Corey Glover. He is the Vice President of United Student Council, and Christine Mompoint is the Parliamentarian, that's a mouthful, for the United Student Council as well. We're going to talk more about what they have in mind for the spring semester coming up on The Topic. I'm Todd Duplantis. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Topic. I'm Todd Duplantis. And we're talking United Student Council, how to get involved with your student government, what exactly they do. Well, we were joined by Christine Mompoint, Parliamentarian for United Student Council, and now Tadia Diallo, Treasurer for United Student Council. Thank you for joining us again. Thank you, Tadia, for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Spring 2020, it's hard to believe 2020 is already upon us.
Yes.
We made it through the fall. What are some of the things you guys have in mind for this upcoming semester?
I would definitely say the biggest thing that we're working on right now is reworking the Constitution. So we have a representative from each college. There's 6 different colleges in our district, and we are giving input about what is the most important, what kind of things do we want to see the United Student Council do in the future,
Right.
And then getting some feedback from administrators from all over the college and how we can make that work.
Do you see major changes in the current Constitution as you have it, or a need for major changes?
There's definitely a need for a very significant change to the Constitution. I think there are people who have different ideas about what the United Student Council could be, but then we have to remember that we are a 2-year institution, and so we want to make something that can actually be continued after we're gone. And so that's what we're focusing on, is making something more student-friendly, more everyone can be involved in, and not necessarily just students who are interested in like bureaucratic like systems.
Right. How long has it been since your Constitution has been overhauled by other by your colleagues in the past?
So when I actually met the student who wrote the Constitution we have now, that was about 2 years ago when he wrote it. And then before that, there was maybe another 8 years prior to that anything had really been drafted.
Right.
So it's been an ongoing process of renewing.
So really there is a need every 2 years, because you got brand new students coming in, new ideas, and I remember, I imagine some things may not be archaic, but kind of out of date as to where you are right now.
Yes, I would definitely agree with that. I think what we're trying to create is something that doesn't need to be revamped necessarily 2 years, so that way we can like build a solid foundation, and something that just really is like generic enough for people to get involved in, but specific enough to keep everything in check.
Now, Tadia, since you're here, I'm going to ask you a question, because I think students may wonder, how does this work? If I want to get involved, are there fees involved? Do I have to pay dues? Maybe you can tell us how that works.
Well, the United Student Council is open to all HCC students. There are certain, to be an officer, there are certain requirements you need to fulfill, but to be a member, it's open to all HCC students.
Any student can join?
Yes, any student that is in good standing with HCC can join the organization, because we are here for the students.
And what would you encourage students to get involved? What would you tell them what would you tell them? Say, look, I need you to get involved with this, because why?
Because it's a great leadership opportunity, because it's a great way to give back to the community. It's a place where you learn, where you evolve, and where you reach out to students, and where you help. And it's a really great opportunity.
And if students are wondering, what do I get out of this in the long term? What type of, from the experience that you two have gathered, what type of careers do you think it would help you benefit from?
I think for me personally, being involved in student government actually had me shift my major to political science. Just being involved in this and getting to do some really awesome things, like being involved in the Texas Junior College Student Government Association and things like that. So it kind of gives you some ideas of other careers that you can be involved in. And then it also helps with, like you were saying, it's a great opportunity to kind of build yourself and like, being in public speaking or like how to write documents and things like that. It definitely helps to develop those skills.
So you're going in political science. Where do you look at going out after HCC?
The University of North Texas.
University of North Texas. And then what do you see career-wise? What are your goals?
So I think like being involved in this, I realized how much of education is really revolved around legislation, and so wanting to work in a capacity where I can kind of influence education legislation, work with different education like groups and things like that to kind of work in that capacity.
And Tadia, what about you? What type of career path are you looking at, and how has the USC helped you in that?
Well, my career path is public health. I'm looking into public health because my background is health science. But as Christine was saying, it's a really great opportunity because, I'm from another country. I came here and I took classes here. And the fact that I'm doing government, I'm doing English, I'm doing literature, it really helps, and putting that back into the USC, as we say, we are the federal government of the we work as the federal government of the SG, with the SGS being the state government. So it really helps me understand that picture of that class as a whole. And it also teach you how to, as she said, speak in public. It helps
Right.
you how to work as a leader and how to be able to reach out to students. I think any field you go into, that's a really great thing to have with you.
You know, the path of an international student is fascinating to many of us, and I know we're going to talk more with you about that in just a
Yes.
few moments. Do you suggest that students, if they want to play a role in their student government going on to USC, is it suggested that they start at the SGA to then move on to the USC? Is that the pathway that most of y'all would take?
We do have a couple of officers and members that are not involved in SGA, and they are more than welcome to be a part of anything that we're doing. But I think it gives you a deeper understanding of how the colleges work when you're
Right.
involved in SGA and kind of how the chain of command works. That's something that we kind of have to navigate a lot when we're trying to make campus change or direct grievances to the appropriate people.
And what are the qualifications if you want to be an officer in SGA?
There is a minimum requirement of a GPA of 2.5.
Okay.
And you have to be at least a part-time student for domestic students. And for international student, the requirement is full-time, because to be in good standing with the school, you have to be a full-time student.
Right.
It's really basic requirements to be able, because we want to open it to all students.
Sure. Now, here, I guess what I would have a question if I was a student, and it was a few years ago when I did go to college, but I would probably say, well, you know what, I'm taking a full load right now of classes. I'm just too busy. I don't have the time. Do you hear that a lot? And what would you say to those students?
I'm so sorry. I think that when you get involved in different SGAs and
Right.
the USC, you'll find a place where you can commit your time. So, like, I know I have officers at Northwest where we are all SGA all day
Yeah.
long. And then we have members who just pop in to give us their feedback. So we say anything that you can give, any information, any feedback that you can provide us, even if it's a one-time thing or reoccurring
Sure.
thing, give us what you have. We'll take it.
And what about you, Tadia? What
Oh
would you say?
yeah, definitely. That's true. And also, sometimes I tell students, if something matters to you, you'll find time to make it.
Sure.
Because, I mean, there are many of us that are full-time students and that are involved in not only one organization, but multiple organizations. Because at the end of the day, it all goes toward the same goal.
Right.
Yes, so you can always find time to navigate.
And here's another question. Are there stipends or are there do you get scholarships or anything like that that helps, maybe any incentives to those who are serving as officers and giving a lot of their time to USC?
Yes, so there is a stipend that you can apply for,
Okay.
providing that you've completed all the things that are listed in the district contract for officers. So the idea is that, I think there's a 20 hours or so per month that you're required to do,
Okay.
whether that's meetings, executive board meetings, meeting with the administration, keeping up documents and things like that. And so the college wants to reward students who are completing these tasks, because this is a bigger goal than just ourselves. This is student retention, this is student recruitment. So we want to make sure that everybody's completing it. It's not like you just sign up and you get the scholarship, but if you work hard for it, it's definitely there for you.
There for you. We are speaking with Christine Monmont, Parliamentarian for the United Student Council here at Houston Community College, and also Tadia Diallo, Treasurer at United Student Council. And Tadia is going to be returning with me, and we're going to talk about your path here as an international student. We'll speak more to you in a second. Thank you for being here, Christine,
Thank
and
you.
telling us about the United Student Council. You're watching The Topic. I'm Todd Duplantis. We'll be right back.
This is Ronik. She's a mom with a physics degree, so she understands the power of momentum. And she knows that by learning English at Houston Community College, she'll be unstoppable. HCC, for everyone, anytime.
I've seen people's lives change just by attending a class at HCC.
Some of them might not have the financial means to go to a four-year university. That doesn't make them any less quote-unquote smart than the kids who go to a four-year school.
HCC is easy to get to. It's easy to apply and easy to become a part of.
It gave me so much confidence.
Once you finish your 2 years there, you can transition into a four-year university or go into the workforce.
It's affordable, it's accessible, it changes lives.
Meet Elizabeth. She's a mom on her way to get groceries. She's also on her way to getting an associate's degree at Houston Community College that could help provide for her family. HCC, for everyone, anytime.
Welcome back to The Topic. I'm Todd Duplantis, and we are talking United Student Council. We're joined today by Tadia Diallo, and you're the treasurer for the United Student Council here at Houston Community College, but you also play another role because you are an international student ambassador.
Right.
Tell me exactly what that role entails.
Well, the International Student Ambassadorship is a program created by the International Student Office to help new students adjust to life at HCC and life in Houston, and to also give them services, provide them services that are available to HCC, for them to at HCC.
Tell me about your journey here to the U.S. and to HCC, your background, and how long you've been here.
Well, it's been a very enriching opportunity. I came to the U.S. 4 years ago, and I've been to Houston 3 years now, for 3 years now, and it's been a very great journey, actually. Yeah.
And where are you from initially? Where's your home country?
It's Guinea.
Guinea.
Yeah,
okay.
it's in West Africa.
And when you came to the U.S. 4 years ago, did you speak English?
No.
None at all?
I learned English here in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, my country is a French-speaking country.
So you spoke French, you didn't know any English. Tell me what that experience is like, because it's intimidating to me to visit another country where I don't speak the language, much less move there, have to learn it, and take off.
Yes, right. So when I came, I was fortunate to have like some siblings here.
Okay.
So when I first came, I was with them, and I was in a school where my only option was English. I came in summer, and I was pretty much the only student at school.
Wow.
And I was with my professor. The only way we can communicate is English. So I had to speak English, and that was really helpful for me.
So how long did you say? How long did it take you before you were able to converse in English?
I did 2 semesters.
Okay.
I did 4 months of English. Then I took the TOEFL test. Then I started going to college.
What brought you to HCC?
I wanted to move to a bigger city where I have affordable schools, and at the same time a school that offers many opportunities, and a diverse school. So basically HCC became my first choice. I had siblings that came, when they first came to the US, they came to HCC, so they told me about HCC, and I basically wanted to try it, and I came to HCC, and I would say it was the right choice.
What are some of the biggest concerns for international students coming here?
Adaptation. That's most of international students come here. We have many that comes here that do not speak English at all, and they struggle with that. And the culture is different. Pretty much everything is different from their country. And when they come, some of them need housing, some of them need transportation, and they have to navigate. The school system is different from where they are. They have to adapt to all of those things. Yeah.
Being an international student ambassador, what advice can you offer those students? I imagine the fact that you're newly here to the U.S. and you've gone through these experiences just recently, and does that translate into helping these students?
Oh, definitely. That's why international student ambassadors are students that have been through it first and that are willing to walk other students through the process easily. So the first thing we tell them is reassure them first that everything is okay. They have great resources here that they can use, and they have people that are here nice and willing to help them. We just pretty much, HCC has it. We are just here as a link to direct them to the right service and the right opportunities.
Do you find most of the students that are coming here, do they have families that they are staying with, or do some of them come here and they need to find a place to live? They're just ready to start, but they don't have any of the resources yet.
Well, some students have family. We have many students that come because they know someone or they have someone here. But we also have some students that come and they do not have housing. They just assume that HCC will provide housing. And then it's once they get here that they realize it's a community college that do not provide housing, and they do not know someone. So, and we have encountered those cases where we as ambassadors, come together and try to find a place through students or give them a recommendation or according to our experiences.
So a lot of them are coming here because they're
Yes.
thinking that we do have housing available, because I imagine a lot of
Right.
colleges that you're coming to
Right.
do have houses available. Now here's a question. I work in communications and marketing.
Right.
If you're a student overseas, what's the best way for me reaching you? How do I reach you to get the word out about Houston Community College?
How to best reach out our
If
as
you're
ambassadors?
overseas, how do I reach to you to get the word to you?
Oh, students mostly learn about HCC through the website or through friends and family that are
Word of
already here.
mouth.
Yes, word of mouth. That's basically how HCC is advertised. And that's how, as ambassadors, we created social media platforms to where, because now everyone around the world can access those things. So we have information that we send out to students through that. And the bigger platform is the word of mouth.
In other countries, is it as intensive with, or is it concentrated with social media like it is here in the United States?
Well, it is concentrated. Like in the United States, that's probably less, but
Right.
people are very much into social media now around the world.
So you, with the International Student Services Office, which you do work under,
Right.
do you guys use social media to reach certain countries?
The social media is not targeted to a specific country.
Okay.
We have it here for everyone who is connected and wanting to learn more about HCC. We pretty much target everyone. People here in the U.S. and people outside of the U.S. and as well as our students.
I know we talked earlier about your career path. When you first came to the United States, did you know the career path that you wanted to be on?
Right, yes. When I came, I already had public health in mind.
So you're ready to go into public health. Where do you see that going from after HCC, and what are your plans after HCC?
Right, I see it going well because I feel like I've had many resources and I've been prepared at HCC here well to be able to transfer to another school, which I'm working on right now. And I think I'm on the right path right now.
What type of schools are you looking at right now? Which ones are you looking to maybe possibly transfer to?
I'm looking at grad schools.
Okay.
Yes, and there are so many great schools that I can transfer to that I have a very broad variety of schools that I can go to.
Are they within the state of Texas, or are you looking to get out of Texas?
I'm looking at both. I'm looking
Okay.
at schools in Texas, and I'm looking at schools outside of Texas.
You mentioned we've only got a few moments left, but you mentioned public health. That's a very broad career path. What do you have targeted? What do you see yourself doing in 5 years from now, career-wise?
Well, that's a great question because I'm very passionate about public health,
Right.
and that was one of the things when I was talking to the advisor, and I was like, these are all specific fields that I'm interested in. What do I choose? And she was like very much laughing. So, but I'm looking into community health.
Right.
Public policies, because I think that's where it starts. If you want to change the bottom, you have to be able to start
Sure.
at the source, and that goes with policy, and that goes with educating the community.
Tadia Diallo, we appreciate you being here. I'm fascinated by your story, and I wish you the best of luck as you
Thank
move
you.
forward from HCC into your career.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on the topic. Remember, you can download all of our podcasts at hccs.edu/podcast. For the topic on HCC TV, I'm Todd Duplantis. I'll see you next time.